If you could pick any version of Sidney Crosby, which one are you choosing? The 2007 version that became the youngest scoring champion in major North American sports, the 2010 Olympic golden goal version, the 2016 and 2017 championship captain who basically mastered every detail of winning? You really cannot go wrong. But there is one version of Sidney Crosby that gets slept on way too much. Rookie Sidney Crosby. Because before the cups, before the captaincy, before the legacy was untouchable, he was an 18-year-old kid walking into the NHL with impossible expectations, joining a Pittsburgh Penguins team that was not just bad, they were desperate for a franchise reset. And somehow, immediately, he looked like he belonged. Actually, no. He looked like he was already one of the most dangerous players in the entire league. In 2005-06, Sidney Crosby put up 102 points as a rookie, 39 goals, 63 assists at 18 years old. That is not normal. That is not good for a rookie. That is superstar production right away. And the craziest part, he did it on a Penguins team that finished 22, 46, and 14, fifth in the Atlantic Division and nowhere near the playoffs. So today, we are going back to the season where Sidney Crosby entered the NHL with the weight of an entire franchise on his back, and somehow he still played like a demon. Before Crosby even played an NHL game, the expectations were insane. He was not just another top prospect, he was the next one. The guy people believed could follow Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux as hockey's next generational superstar. And after the 2004-05 NHL season was canceled because of the lockout, the league held a special weighted draft lottery. Pittsburgh won it, and with the first overall pick in the 2005 NHL draft, the Penguins selected Sidney Crosby out of Rimouski. That alone tells you how big this was. This was not just a team drafting a young center. This was a franchise getting handed hope. The Penguins were coming off years of losing. Their arena situation was uncertain. Mario Lemieux was still around, but his playing career was near the end. The team needed a new face, a new identity, and honestly, a reason for fans to believe again. And Crosby was supposed to be all of that at 18 years old. Now imagine being that age, stepping into a league full of grown men, and every single night the other teams know exactly who you are. Veterans want to test you, defensemen want to hit you, goalies want to deny you, fans want to see if the hype is real. And Crosby did not ease into it, he attacked it. Crosby made his NHL debut on October 5th, 2005 against the New Jersey Devils, and even in a 5-1 loss, he picked up an assist on Pittsburgh's first goal of the season. That is such a perfect snapshot of his rookie year. The Penguins lose badly, Crosby still finds a way to produce. Then, a few days later, on October 8th, 2005, he scores his first NHL goal against the Boston Bruins at Civic Arena. Pittsburgh had the puck in the offensive zone, Mark Recchi helped force it loose near the crease, and suddenly there was Crosby wide open, burying the first goal of what would become one of the greatest careers in NHL history. And this is where you could start to see it. The hands were there, the vision was there, the compete level was definitely there. But what made rookie Crosby scary was not just the points, it was the way he played. He was not floating around waiting for easy offense. He was battling in corners, taking contact, driving the middle of the ice, and playing with this edge like he had something to prove every single shift. Because he did. Everybody wanted to see if the kid was really that good, and he spent the entire season answering that question. Here's the thing, Crosby was not walking into some stacked situation. This was not a young star being protected by a powerhouse roster. The 05-06 Penguins were rough. They started the season with Eddie Olczyk as head coach, then replaced him with Michel Therrien during the year. They gave up a lot of goals. They finished with only 58 points. And while there were talented names around Crosby, the team was not built to win yet. Mario Lemieux was still there at the beginning, which sounds amazing, but this was not prime Mario. His body was breaking down, and in January 2006, he retired for good. The Penguins later looked back on that season as the crossover between Lemieux and Crosby, the franchise icon passing the torch to the teenager who would become the next one. And after Mario left, it became even clearer. This was Crosby's team already at 18. That sounds ridiculous, but watch the games, and you see it. Pittsburgh could be losing, the defense could be scrambling, the building could feel dead. Then Crosby would hop over the boards, grab the puck, and suddenly the entire game had energy. He was creating offense out of nothing. A loose puck along the wall, Crosby wins it. A defenseman thinks he has him boxed out, Crosby spins off him. Two guys collapse on him, Crosby somehow slips a pass through a lane that should not even exist. That was the rookie version of Sid. Not polished all the way yet, not fully grown, but already terrifying. What made rookie Crosby so special was that he did not dominate in just one way. Some young stars come in with a huge shot, some come in with speed, some come in with flash. Crosby came in with everything. His vision was absurd. He could be below the goal line with his back to the play and still know exactly where his teammate was going to be. He was already one of those players who made everyone else on the ice panic because one bad read and the puck was in the slot. His playmaking was elite immediately. And then there was the strength. This is the part people forget. Crosby was 18, but he was not soft. He played low, he protected the puck with his body, and even when bigger defenders leaned on him, he could keep possession long enough to make a play. That is what made him annoying to defend. You could hit him, but he would get back up. You could pressure him, but he would make a pass. You could try to rattle him, but a lot of the time, it just made him play harder, and that edge mattered. Rookie Crosby was not just a highlight machine. He was competitive to the point where it looked personal. Every battle, every whistle, every shift, he played like he was trying to prove the NHL had underestimated him, which is hilarious because the league already had massive expectations for him, and he still exceeded them. By the end of the season, Crosby had 39 goals and 63 assists for 102 points in 81 games. Again, this dude was 18. He finished 5th all-time among rookies in single-season points, behind names like Teemu Selanne, Peter Stastny, Alex Ovechkin, and Dale Hawerchuk. That is the kind of list where you look at it and go, okay, this is not normal company. And on Pittsburgh, he was not just contributing. He was the offense. He led the Penguins in goals. He led them in assists. He led them in points. He became the first Penguins rookie to hit 100 points since Mario Lemieux. That is the moment where the whole thing starts to feel bigger than a rookie season, because Mario was the standard in Pittsburgh. Mario was the guy who saved the franchise before, and now here was this kid wearing number 87 immediately putting his name next to Lemieux's. You cannot script it better than that. Well, actually, you can, because Crosby did it while the Penguins were losing constantly. That is what makes this season so wild. Crosby drops 2 or 3 points, Pittsburgh might still lose. If he creates chances all night, the team might still get outscored. If he looks like the best player on the ice, the standings still barely move. But night after night, Crosby kept showing up. That is a different kind of pressure. It is easy to produce when your team is rolling. It is much harder when every game feels like an uphill climb, when opponents can focus on you, and when the reward for playing great is still another loss. But Crosby just kept coming. Late in the season, Crosby was chasing something historic, the 100-point mark. For most rookies, a 60-point season is fantastic. For an 18-year-old, even being useful in the NHL is impressive. Crosby was not just useful, he was hunting 100. On April 17th, 2006, against the New York Islanders, he reached it, becoming the youngest player to hit 100 points in an NHL season. Think about that. At an age when most players are still figuring out junior hockey, college hockey, or whether they can handle pro speed at all, Crosby was reaching a number that some star players never touch in their entire careers. And it was not empty. It was not just power play points or garbage time production. It was the product of a player who had to create every night against top matchups on a team that needed him to be great just to stay competitive. That is why rookie Crosby was a demon, because by April, the league already knew this was not hype anymore. This was real. Now, here's the one thing that makes this season even crazier. Crosby did not even win the Calder Trophy, because in the same rookie class, Alex Ovechkin was putting together one of the greatest rookie seasons ever, too. Ovechkin had 52 goals and 106 points, and he brought a completely different kind of chaos. He was explosive, physical, loud, and impossible to ignore. So when award season came, Ovechkin won the Calder, and Crosby finished second. And honestly, that rivalry made both of them feel even bigger. The NHL was coming out of a canceled season. The league needed young stars. It needed energy. It needed a new era. And boom, Ovechkin in Washington, Crosby in Pittsburgh. Two rookies immediately playing like franchise legends. But even though Ovechkin won Rookie of the Year, do not let that make you underrate what Crosby did. Because 102 points as an 18-year-old on that Penguins team is ridiculous. There are great rookie seasons, and then there are seasons that announce the future of the league. This was one of those. The Penguins missed the playoffs. Crosby did not win the Calder. There was no championship run, no signature playoff series, no golden goal, no captain lifting the cup. So if you only look at the surface, 2005 to 06 might feel like just the beginning, but it was more than that. This was a season that proved Sidney Crosby was not just a prospect. He was a franchise-changing player immediately. The year before Crosby arrived, Pittsburgh was searching for direction. 1 year later, they had their guy. And by 2006-07, the Penguins jumped from 58 points to 105 points and made the playoffs. That leap did not happen by accident. Rookie Crosby was the foundation. He gave the Penguins an identity. He gave the fan base belief. He gave the league a new superstar. And he did it before he was even old enough to legally drink in the United States. That is insane. So yeah, when people talk about the best versions of Sidney Crosby, they usually go straight to the championships, the MVP years, the Olympic moments, and the veteran version who mastered every inch of the game. And that makes sense, but do not forget rookie Sid, because in 2005-06, Sidney Crosby walked into the NHL with impossible expectations, joined a struggling Penguins team, watched the franchise legend pass him the torch, and somehow still dropped 102 points as an 18-year-old. He was skilled, he was relentless, he was fearless, and even though Pittsburgh was not ready to win the cup yet, Crosby made it obvious that the entire future of the franchise had changed. The cups would come later, the captaincy would come later, the legacy would come later, but the warning came immediately. Rookie Sidney Crosby was a demon.